It was so great to see Taya and to do this interview at her house that she obviously shares with John Morrison. Yes, they live in Slamtown, of course. I just wish that this was under different circumstances. Look, I've known Taya for a while, and I was so excited when she got signed by WWE, and then less than a year later, she gets released. And we get into it during this conversation, but she never really had the chance of showing what she was capable of. And if you've seen any of her matches in Lucha Underground, AAA, or Impact Wrestling, you know that she is capable of a lot. Now, before we dive into this conversation, a huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode. They have been a lifesaver for me. I mean, you've got a lock on your door, you should protect yourself when you're online too. You know as well as I do that public Wi-Fi is a hotbed for hackers who want to jump in there and steal your information. But by using NordVPN, it protects me from hackers and gives me peace of mind, especially when I'm traveling, which has been a lot lately. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that. It's incredibly easy to set up, whether it's on your computer or on your phone. Missed a FaceTime call from mom, sorry about that. And it's super fast too. And I love that you can access content from 59 different countries by changing your virtual information just with one little click. So speaking of mom from earlier, I was back home in Canada for Christmas and it was very cold. I was telling my niece and nephews about this Netflix show, so I went to pull it up and it wasn't available in Canada. Logged into my NordVPN, changed my virtual location, and boom, we were watching it. So it's NordVPN's 10th birthday, and don't worry, you don't need to get them anything because they got something for you. Go to nordvpn.com/CVV or just use the code CVV and you'll get up to 72% off plus a free month as part of the NordVPN 10th birthday sale. They also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're on the fence about VPN or you just want to give it a try and you decide, you know what, not for me, you can get a full refund. Just head to nordvpn.com/CVV to take advantage of this deal. But I should let you know this is a limited time offer. So jump on it now, and we will jump now into this great conversation in Slamtown with Taya Valkyrie.
You gonna be okay, buddy?
He hates high fives.
Oh, thank you for inviting me back to Slamtown.
Oh, you're so welcome. Welcome back.
Look at this guy. Everybody knows him.
Yes, this
Hi,
is
Presley.
The infamous Prince Presley.
Prince Presley.
Yeah. Pretzel for short.
He's such a good boy. Look how happy he is.
I know, because there's cameras. He's literally a movie dog.
Born to be a star.
Born to be a star.
Look how happy he is.
Yep.
Hi. Oh, I thought you might have something to say. I guess not.
He's a star, but he's silent. A silent star.
So much has happened since the last time I saw you.
My, oh my. Yes, so much has happened.
Since the last time we sat right here.
Yep, sat here in my kitchen.
Yeah.
It was the fall of 2020.
Yeah.
That really wasn't that long ago, and like so much stuff has happened.
Yeah. Well, this was before you were signed with WWE.
Yeah.
And John had signed with WWE.
Yeah, he was already there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then not long after that, you did get signed, and here we are.
And here we are again.
Now you're not. Yeah. I don't know where we begin.
The trials and tribulations of being Taya.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to California.
Oh, thank you. I have missed California. I missed California so much. I don't think I realized how much of a West Coast. I mean, I'm born and raised in Victoria.
Yeah.
So I've always been on the West Coast my whole life, but I didn't realize how much I love California.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Florida, but you were awful to me. So
It's not Florida's fault.
I'm just going to blame it on Florida.
Okay. Well, blame it on Florida. It's all Florida's fault. I don't know. Like, I lived in Florida for 5 years as well. Mm-hmm. I can understand what you're saying. Florida has good. Florida has bad. Every state has good and bad.
Absolutely. 100%. And I think when we went to Florida, California was in a stricter lockdown, 100%. Like, I remember the first few times we went out in Orlando, we kind of had like, John and I were like, oh my God. Like the PTSD of of having gone through 2020 in Los Angeles. So it was a little bit to get used to because it was just so much more lax than here. But yeah, it was definitely different.
So let's pick it up from the last time I saw you. So John's working for WWE.
Yeah.
Does John working for WWE help you kind of get your foot in the door?
It didn't help me get my foot in the door. I definitely think that it helped me make the decision that I made to go there because once he left Impact, I was like, kind of like, oh my God, because we'd been working together for, several years and several different promotions.
Yeah.
So the idea of us being able to be together again was a huge influence on my decision to sign with WWE.
Yeah.
It was a very long process. It's a very stressful process. I don't know if people know that, but it's like a lengthy, like several months of, paperwork and background checks and medical things and, all this kind of stuff, all while you're trying to figure out, like, am I going to get this job or not, So once everything happened, it was just like, okay, like we're doing it. And that was like the huge motivator. It was for John and I to be together.
Yeah.
And working for the same company.
And I'm guessing that those things don't happen when you're signing with other companies. All the months of paperwork and medicals and all that
I've
stuff.
never gone through that before. At Lucha Underground, we had to do like a lot of medical testing for them.
That's probably because of the TV network.
100%, because
Yeah.
it was run like a TV show and just like liabilities and things like that. But yeah, that was the first time that I've gone through that level of, if there's a skeleton out there, they're going to find it.
But I imagine, every kid grows up watching WWF, WWE. It's like, oh my God, like they want me. This is exciting.
It was very exciting. And I mean, I wanted to go there forever. I mean, that's why you start wrestling. You fall in love with the superstars that you see as a kid or as a teenager or whatever it is, right? So for me, it was always like, I just want to be like Trish Stratus, Canadian icon Trish Stratus, and Lita and Victoria. And like I've touched on before, like that's the whole reason I got into fitness competition, was because I wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
So at a certain point in my career, I kind of thought that I wasn't going to get signed because I wasn't, I just wasn't what I thought that they liked. And that's just me being critical of myself. I also wasn't 25 years old. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. And then as time went on, people like Asuka was hired, Shayna Baszler, Mercedes Martinez, seeing Tamina and, Natalia on the main roster killing it and winning championships still. And it was like, maybe this is a possibility.
Yeah. And you had made such a name for yourself,
yeah,
too.
Of course. Like, I'm a multi-time world champion in AAA, longest reigning Knockouts champion for Impact Wrestling.
Keep going. I love it.
I was on 3 seasons of Lucha Underground. I'm a main eventer on all of those platforms.
Yeah.
Put some respect on my name, folks. So it was like a really cool, like, kind of like, okay, like, I'm going to give this a go. Holy shit. Like,
yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. And like I said, in some when I first was there, I said in an interview, like, that I reminded me of like feeling how in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, when he gets the golden ticket, like that's the way I thought about it. I actually bought myself the book when I got signed to remind myself of how I felt in that moment.
I love that.
Still have it.
Yeah.
I sometimes have to look at it because it was such a big deal for me.
Yeah.
I don't come from wrestling, like I said. Like, it was just years, like 12 years of, and everyone says like blood, sweat, and tears and hard work, but it seriously was. Like, I was so poor at certain times. I didn't have the support of a lot of people. I've just really had to carve my own path. And so the opportunity to go there, I was like, okay. And that's a lot of people say like, well, you should have known better. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it wasn't about that. It was about like, do I go and do this and at least try? Or do I spend my whole life like wondering what if kind of thing?
And you had also seen that John had gone there and been very successful.
Of course. Like,
yeah.
He's my husband. Like, I just like any job, there's going to be good stuff, there's going to be bad stuff, whatever. I was prepared for that.
Yeah.
Don't know if I was prepared to the level that I had, like, of what happened, but I was definitely like, okay, I'm going to try, and they were super good to me when I first got there. They treated me like Taya Valkyrie. Like, they were very like protective of me. That's why, like, I don't know if you look back on, they were doing like the women's tag title announcement.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the stage there, but I was told to not look at the camera because they wanted me to be part of it, but they didn't want me to be seen because I hadn't been I hadn't debuted yet.
Yeah, okay.
So I was part of it. You see like the back of my head like twice.
Very recognizable back of the head.
Yeah, I know. But but yeah, so they were like Shawn Michaels and Triple H were like super good to me, and like I started working with Sarah Amato and the girls in the girls class, and training in the weight room with Sean Hayes. Shout out Sean Hayes. He's the bomb. He was one of like my favorite people while I was there. And yeah, things started, going on, and like, WrestleMania weekend came and Presley debuted on NXT before me. So everything was like good. Like, I was it was hard. It was definitely like, okay, like this is a totally different kind of situation that I've ever had and been in before. But if I survived, you know, all the drills and all the, you know, hours that I've spent in this kind of like environment in other places, I'm sure I can do it here. And that's what I did. I did abs. I went to extra ring time. I was training every day. I was doing promo classes. I was, you know, pitching ideas and having creative meetings. And like Road Dogg and I would sit down and talk about stuff for like hours. And I would just like, you know, have all these, I would have color charts. I would have movie references. I would have like, I think about this stuff so much because I just care and I just love it so much. So things were like really good. And you know, as you could see what happened as time went on, and then like 2.0 came about. And I feel like that is when a really big change happened.
that's when Triple H wasn't there every single day.
Yes. It was like night and day. It was a very obvious change of energy, an obvious just feeling, because we were hearing like all sorts of like rumors about what they were looking for compared to, you know, last week. And I was like very confused, and I was like, what is going on kind of thing.
And it had only been a few months at that point.
Yeah, like so this was like in the summer.
Yeah.
So
And you debuted in February.
it was like March, April. So yeah, it was just so weird. It was like, and I
guess announced in February.
Yeah, announced in February. It was just like the most confusing experience of like my entire life, and having worked, like I said, everywhere, I was just left like, what is going on? Kind of.
Yeah, and then you're like, do you feel like every single day you're then walking on eggshells?
100%. I think everybody was. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I can also say that like the energy definitely shifted. You know, we were hearing rumors all the time about, you know, they're going to be firing people this week. And then now the whole week, everyone's like, you know, scared, basically. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
But we're all like busting our asses. You know what I mean? Like everybody that's there, like, you know, I ended up training with Carino and the boys in the tag class. And I mean, I loved training with MSK and training with Imperium and like all those guys, because they're pushing me and they're making me do different stuff. And like, it's just really cool to like, you know, grizzled young veterans and like just learning from different people from different walks of life and different paths. And everything was like good. Everyone was working like really, really hard. But it just, the shift of how they wanted 2.0 to be like literally changed from like one day to the next. So, and I feel like it just made everybody just being like, oh my, like, and holding your breath almost.
And I think there's also been people saying that like if you were a Triple H hire or Triple H project in 2.0, like they just didn't want to do anything with you.
I mean, I don't like, no one ever said that to me or confirmed any
felt
of that.
that
Like,
way?
I don't know. Like, I just can't even like, I don't know. It's just, all I can say is it's like really confusing. And I tried to make sense of it for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I was really angry, as we all know. But you can't make sense of something that makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I can say is that I worked very hard. I gave everything I could, just like I've done. And I don't want to cry. Oh God. Like everywhere I've worked before. And it was very confusing. And I just didn't know. Like I felt like I did something wrong, and
Well, that's obviously not the case.
Yeah, it's sorry.
Because I completely understand because you know, this has happened to dozens, hundreds of people over the last year, and it must be so difficult to not take it personally.
Well, yeah, and
it has nothing to do with
I know, and
you.
I'm a sensitive person. So when everything went down, it was like really confusing and heartbreaking for me because I felt like I let everybody down.
Yeah, but it's not on you at all.
Yeah.
And I guess it must have been so difficult because John's then still working there at the time.
And John was on tour in the UK when this happened. Thank God my friend Heather Monroe, shout out to Heather, had picked me up to go shopping when I got the call.
Wow.
So thank God I was with her. Sorry. So it was really hard because it was confusing, and I felt like I let everybody down, and I felt like I was like representing the over 30 women that are still badasses and look good and do their job and are
and can
passionate
work.
and can work. And I
Yeah.
just felt like I let everybody down. And I know I'm putting that on myself, and my mom has told me that, but it's been really rough. And I'm hashing all this out again. But I now like know that I did nothing wrong. Presley, what are you doing?
Yeah. Presley's here for you.
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
I know I didn't do anything wrong. It just sucks. It just sucks. I
Yeah.
don't know. It just sucks when you're meet your heroes and you work at the place you've dreamed of working forever, and then it's something that's so out of your control. Like,
And you also think that you're going to be the exception. You've seen
I
so
know.
many other people come there and get let go, and you're like, but it's going to be different
it's gonna
for me.
be different for me. Yeah, and I just think that I just had to like, because I know myself. If I had not gone there, I would have regretted it
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can't regret I don't regret going there. I just think that
You just wish that it had been handled differently.
handled differently. I wish I'd even been given a chance. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah.
When you first went there,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm so sorry that this, and this is why I reached out to you when you first got
Yeah.
let go. I was like, this just sucks.
It just sucks. I don't know what else to say. It was just like really horrible. And like, I still made like really cool friends and got to work with people that I probably would have never been able to work with. And, you know, shout out to all the coaches that, you know, I had the opportunity to learn from.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the creative team and Road Dogg and the writers and, you know, William Regal and all these people that like really did help me.
Yeah.
So,
When you first went there, was there ever any talk of you being Taya Valkyrie?
yeah. Well, there, just like anytime,
Would you like me to get you a tissue, by
Yes.
the way? One second. You just sit right there. How about a napkin?
yeah, a fancy paper towel.
There we go.
Sorry, guys. Taya Valkyrie is crying.
This is real.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think that WWE doesn't even announce the releases anymore. It's all going through Fightful. Like that's so strange to me that WWE is not even acknowledging that the person that we put this time and effort into does not work here anymore.
Yeah, I didn't even notice because I was a little distracted when all this
Well,
stuff up.
yeah.
So what were you saying?
So you went in.
Taya, yes.
Yeah, and that's who people know.
Yeah, so immediately, because like I immediately had like creative meetings and stuff, and Road Dogg and me are hashing out like who this character is gonna be, and like they really like loved everything that I came with. They like there was like little tiny like differences, like they didn't want me wearing a fur coat because the reason was that we were in Florida, and I was and I was like, okay, whatever, I don't have to wear a fur coat, and but then I like, you know, I discovered this new seamstress out of Chicago who made me all my beautiful tulle coats that I wear. And so it's just like, I was kind of just I did want to evolve without going so far that people didn't recognize who I was. If that makes sense. So the hair got longer, the jackets got longer and bigger.
But then did they go, we
need to name you. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to name you. And
So there was you were going to be Taya for a while?
no, like everyone was calling me Taya at the PC because like obviously I know everybody.
Yeah.
So many of my friends are there. No one even calls me by my first name ever. And then they just were like, hey, we're going to go through some names. They send you like these lists of names and you can kind of go through them and stuff and then make suggestions and things. And man, did I try to at least keep Taya.
Yeah.
Valkyrie, they didn't want me using because there's the Valkyrie that works for NXT UK. But Taya, I like tried really, really hard. I'm sure somewhere in a book there's some ridiculous names on a list or an email. So yeah, it just kind of started the week to week kind of thing of like going back and forth with the names.
And they're just saying, because we don't own this IP, you got to have a new name.
I mean, no one ever really even said that to me. My theory though was that I had been Taya on 3 different television programs and there's merchandise and things out there of me and they just wanted to have something new, which I totally understand. And from a business perspective, it actually makes sense.
I think, though, then you can see the flip side of the coin. There's lots of people they've brought in who got to keep their names.
Absolutely. So I think that, like, just like I said, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So I tried really hard, but yeah, ultimately I did not win this battle.
How did you become Franky?
Well, Franky was a name that I picked because I've always liked kind of the androgynous names and names that are kind of like could be used for a boy or girl.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the Stigmata movie, and her name was Francesca in it, but they called her Franky, and I always thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
I know it's like a horrible, like
No.
crazy movie.
No,
but
the love that you and John have for films is deep.
yeah, deep.
I love it.
So technically, I guess you could say I was Francesca, but yeah, no, Franky comes from that. And then I didn't want it with an IE because I thought that was too normal.
So you got to choose that.
I got to choose the spelling, and then Monet was a name that I came up with because I was just trying to think of like artists. I started like, when I was growing up, my dad's from Switzerland, so we would travel to Europe all the time, and he would take me and my sister to see all the galleries everywhere. So that was kind of where the idea came from, was like to pick something from the art world. So that's why I picked Monet.
How similar do you think Taya is to Franky?
I think they're extremely similar. I feel like they'd be best friends. I just think Franky had more money. And here we are. Yeah, like I just think that she was just like a more zhuzhed version of Taya. But with that said, the new version of Taya that I am evolving into now is an even zhuzhier version of Taya into Franky into Taya.
Yes.
So
what's next for Taya now?
Oh my God, so many things. It's been like, I was like really kind of scared and anxious coming back to the Indies, and I have no idea why. Like I've been doing that for so long. I just feel like I was, because like how I expressed like how I was like, I'm like embarrassed, or I felt like I let people down. I thought that people were going to be like, I don't know. Like I was putting it in my own head. It's like, It's really hard mentally to go through some of this kind of stuff. So, and I'm already like an anxious person. So
Are you thinking people are going to be like, oh, there's the girl?
Yeah, like that's literally like I was putting things in my head that I thought that this was going to happen.
Look, Taya, everyone has been fired from WWE unless you're the Undertaker.
I know. But it was just like really, I don't know. I was just very anxious and didn't know what to expect, especially because when I went to WWE, it was right after the whole 2020 of pandemics, when I didn't work a single indie for a year, and I was only, working for doing the Impact TV tapings. So it'd been 2 years basically since I had been around fans, spoken to fans, because at NXT you don't really have any fan interaction at all.
Yeah.
And you're, in the CWC every day, and so it was just different. And so I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, are they gonna do they like me? Do they hate me? And then also, I will touch on this, is like the negative backlash that I got made me even more anxious. So when I got released, people were sympathetic and felt bad for me. And then 2 weeks later, when they decided to release my husband, I was mad. Like I was sad, and then I was mad. And then I said what I said because I was upset. I mean, I'm standing up for my husband. Like part of me was like, not like, why? Like, okay, fine, fire me, but like, don't fire John Morrison. Really? Like, why? And so I was just like really upset. So I was threatened online. I was told to kill myself. I was, every horrible thing you could think of, I was told because I stood up for my husband.
That's awful.
Wow. And so it's just like, and so I was very anxious, as you could tell, being around fans again. But it has been nothing but a positive experience. So thank you.
Those fans need to go give themselves a look in the mirr're. And like, just that's ridiculous.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
That's not okay to say to anybody.
No. And, I don't need to, we're already going through a lot of stuff. The world is like tough as it is. The time we're living in, we were released before the holidays. It was really hard, and so many unknowns, and moving back to California, and like, just like a lot, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. You had a life in Florida.
Yeah. And friends, and
a
routine, and my dogs are there, like all these kinds of things. So it's a very traumatizing kind of thing.
Well, what people unfortunately don't see is they just see a headline or a tweet.
Yeah.
Like, here's the people who've been released. They don't like understand you just lost your job. Like your
my dream
livelihood,
job.
your dream job. Like, I don't think that they realize that like this is more than just a line or a tweet. This is your life.
Yes, this is my life. It's mine and John's life.
Yeah.
And when you're attacking us because we're sad or upset about losing our jobs, like, I wonder how you feel when you lose your job. Like, that's, nobody's happy about that. So I think that people took it like, and they're I don't know what it's called, the internet wrestling, whatever.
The IWC.
Yeah, the IWC need to really take a good look at themselves because, yeah.
Yeah, and I can understand why so many wrestlers don't want to be on Twitter.
Twitter's the worst. Twitter is literally the worst. I really enjoy Instagram, and I feel like it's fun, and you can like really brand yourself. You can be creative. You can make, post whatever you want kind of thing. And I feel like Twitter is just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like the bottom of the barrel of like.
And no matter what you say on Twitter.
Yeah.
You could be like, pizza is amazing. It's delicious. And people are like, really? So you...
Disgusting. Yeah. Why do you like pizza? Ew, maybe you shouldn't eat so much pizza. You're fat. Like, oh my God. Like, I just like pepperoni.
How can you disagree with pizza? And that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Oh. Absolutely. It's like insane to me.
I would think that you would have never guessed that John would be released with what him and Miz had going on at the time. There was a lot of eyes on them. They had a storyline that seemed to be...
Yeah, and Miz had just gotten off Dancing with the Stars. He like had done really well.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be coming back like the week
Johnny
after.
Drip Drip was this great thing.
Everyone had dripstick t-shirts. It's great. No, that's the thing. And like I told you prior to this interview, like, people are like, you had to have known. And I'm like, no, like 5 days before I was released, we put an offer on a house in Florida. Like this was this next step of us being more permanent there because neither of us saw this coming at all. And I think that that's where like the emotions and things like that come from too, is because you have this idea that this is your job and you're going to do you have to plan your future. And like, what does our future look like? Well, we have now, it's like, at the time, I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? But now I'm just excited about the future. And that's good because, going back to what we were saying, like going back onto the indies, having these meet and greets and...
feeling that love from the fans.
Yes. Some of you are freaking amazing. Most of you. 95% of fans.
More.
98?
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, everyone has been like so good. And like my first wrestling match back was versus Thunder Rosa at the Twitch Sicky Dice Outlandish Paradise show, which was great. And
I love Zicky.
Oh, he's awesome.
That guy is just a ball of energy.
100% all the time. Wears a lot of pink, neon. Love it. Shout out.
He's the front man of a pop punk band.
Love it.
Yeah.
Just love it. So he was like, and you know what? He was the first person, like promoter wise that like I spoke to. So because I was just like overwhelmed by like everything. I didn't answer emails for like a week because I was just like, I don't want to deal with it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was the first one that reached out to me and he's like, can I on Twitter or whatever? And he's like, can I call you or text you or whatever? I want to talk to you about something. And he called me. It was a great conversation. I like don't even remember if we'd met in person. Like we just knew of each other kind of thing. And he wanted to bring me on for this show. So it was the perfect energy that I needed for my first show back.
With your legacy in Impact Wrestling, that seems like a place where you should be.
I mean, I have nothing but love for everybody at Impact the whole entire time I was, in WWE. The Knockouts FaceTime me on a regular basis. They were all at my birthday party in Vegas. We're all still extremely close. We all have been very supportive of each other through the last year, and will continue to be. I have nothing but love for everybody over there. I think that what they've been doing has been really special, and it's really fun to like see new faces and see the new kind of matches and just like how everybody's elevated their game.
Yeah, and if anybody's a lapsed TNA fan or a lapsed Impact fan, like go check out what's going on there now. Like these matches, TJP and Josh Alexander recently. Unbelievable.
Josh is like insane, and so is TJP. So I mean, look at that. Like it's just they're always bringing in new faces and stuff, and like ROH kind of invaded Impact recently. So there's lots of fun things for people to check out for sure.
You've also got a lot of friends at AEW.
Yes.
I think that if you went into AEW, you would make such a big splash so quickly.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to know that I have these kind of communities everywhere. My chosen Lucha Libre family, as I like to call them. Like Phoenix and Pentagon Phoenix, I think, was probably the first person to call me when I got released. And I was just sobbing on the phone. He's like, I can't understand you. Anything. What's going on? But no, like they've just always been super supportive of everything. And you know, I obviously my first appearance post WWE was at their show or at their store. Sorry, Republic of Lucha here in Los Angeles for their Christmas little party thing, which was really fun. And obviously there's, you know, Serena Deeb is over there. Thunder Rosa is over there. There's just tons of also people that I've never wrestled before, which would be super, super fun. There's tons of people that John, I know, would kill having matches with. I mean, there's intergender things that need to happen here. Britt Baker, Adam Cole. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that there's plenty of people around the world and these different companies and even smaller ones and GCW is doing crazy stuff and MLW is doing stuff. Like it's very.
What about Matt and Chelsea?
Oh, Matt and Chelsea, we have their number as well. Love you guys, but we're taking you to Slam Town.
There's a lot of, as you're saying this, there's a lot of couples in wrestling that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, totally. There's tons. You know, what if Sue Young and Rich Swann? Like, that would be a dynamic. Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Who else we got? Gia and Ace Austin. We got...
Keep going.
I know. Okay.
This is like a trivia game now.
And if I'm going to forget someone, they're going to be so mad. Oh, we got Renee and Rockstar Spud.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Renee and John Moxley.
We got that too. We got that too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's a lot.
Is that a lot? Yeah, there's a lot.
That's like 6, I think, we just listed there.
There is, yeah. And I also just really...
Oh, there's Miz and Maurice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now we're just listing like...
Seth and Becky. Yeah, what else we got?
Yeah. That one probably won't happen.
Yeah,
right
those
now.
aren't happening anytime soon. But I really, really want to wrestle John.
You have wrestled him.
I have wrestled
him
once before.
Where would you want to wrestle John?
I don't know.
Mexico?
Why can't I just do it here?
You can wrestle him wherever you want.
Yeah, but that's also like it's one of my honor. And we've both talked about
GCW?
it. I would think that me and John would do. You know, it would be awesome.
PWG's still running here, right?
Yes. They normally don't put women on their show, unfortunately, which should change. Hello, it's 2022.
Yeah. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
For you.
So I definitely know I want to wrestle John. I mean, there's just so many people that I'm excited to like I still have not wrestled Chelsea Green. I was in her wedding party, haven't wrestled Chelsea Green. Someone explain to me how that even like...
You should have started, in the wedding party, should have started
the angle.
Yeah. Should have like hit her with the bouquet.
Yeah, no. She just looked too pretty. So
Congrats to them, by the way.
Yes. Best wedding ever. So fun.
I just think that when you look at people like Chelsea and Matt and what they've accomplished, it's like, man, the sky's the limit.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like, yes, everything that happened to me is sad and it sucked, and I'm just like at a point now that I'm like moving on from that. I've hashed it up to a chapter in my life, a very short chapter, but still a chapter in my life and in my career. I'll forever be able to have that on my resume, and I'm just ready to move on, and I'm ready to conquer new mountains. I conquered that mountain. I've conquered many before, and I was fine before. So
it sure seemed like you were about to win the NXT Women's Championship, or at least in line to do that.
You know what? Why do you gotta say stuff like that?
Because I wanted you to be like, well, actually, Chris, I was about to win it.
No. Unfortunately, no. Raquel's awesome. Also, by the way, she's very good. She's such a sweet girl too. Very talented.
Is there anything you learned from your time in NXT that you now think you'll take into the matches you have in the future?
Definitely like some of the psychology stuff, because I was so fluent in lucha libre style. It was interesting for me to just have like this kind of more a better understanding. I mean, I always knew regular pro wrestling psychology, but I think that they are so particular about the way that they want things, that I definitely learned some stuff there of 100%. And also just taking my time, not rushing things. I feel like my selling improved a lot because, just make everything bigger. So of course I took stuff from there.
You've
if
played-
anything, they just did me a favor because they just polished me up for somebody
well, that's
else.
the thing. You've played to cameras before in the past, but I imagine there it's much more of like, okay, you're in a headlock. Make sure to know that the camera's there. The camera's there.
Well, I mean, that's a given with television, and having done TV for so long, I felt like I was like, I'm very good at, that's one thing I'm very, very good at is, finding my cameras, knowing where the hard cam is, knowing how to work TV. But there it's just more meticulous, definitely. Then there's just like more cameras and things like that. But overall, like, yeah, there's just like, like I said, I think maybe they did me a favor.
Well, clearly.
They just polished me up.
And
now I'm ready to...
it's brought you to where you are right now.
Yeah, sitting here with you in Slamtown.
That's it, in Slamtown. How's the business?
Good. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So I continued doing it throughout last year, and I had help, obviously, here because we were living in an apartment in Orlando.
You should have moved your LLC to Florida for tax purposes.
Don't get me started. But yeah, so we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary in like
Congrats.
May, and so I'm really going to be taking the next couple months just preparing a launch for the 2-year anniversary.
And for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, this is Loca by Taya Valkyrie.
Loca by Taya Valkyrie at TayaValkyrie.com.
And it's your clothing line.
It's my clothing line. And I've been doing it for 2 years almost. And so, yeah, I'm really just kind of almost create like rebirth of Loca by Taya Valkyrie and like shine her up and, build the website up, like change the website and just do some things like that I really wanted to do last year. I just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
And just kind of take back my business and really, move forward with it. I enjoy fashion and clothes and as you guys know,
obviously,
I don't know if you
come
knew
on.
That. But yeah, it's just like part of my life and I just really enjoy it. It makes me happy. So I'm just going to get more hands-on in this next year.
So you and I are the exact same age.
Yeah. We're 25.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as I think about a milestone that's not too far away for both of us.
26.
That's right. 26. I think about like, oh my gosh, like that seems like a big number. Do you think about that?
I never, ever, ever thought about age at all until it was brought to my attention.
They actually brought it to your attention?
Well, I mean, social media brought it to my attention because nobody ever told me like, oh, you're 38, you're old now or anything like that. No, it was never a conversation. I was hired when I was like 36, turning 37. You know what I mean? So they already knew what they were getting.
And you look great.
Oh my God, thank you. I know. So the age thing, and also, like I said before, all these women who had been hired and had done all these wonderful things, being accepted for their talent and not just a number on a page. Because if a man was 36 or 37 or 38, no one would say anything. Let's be honest here. Unfortunately, that is just the world that we live in. And so people started kind of picking on me again on Twitter about my age, and I was just like, I've never thought about my age. I don't know what 38 is supposed to feel like. I don't even know what 38 is supposed to look like. I'm just me. And I am able to do my job better than, a 25-year-old. I have 12 years of experience. I think it's Bret Hart that said it takes 10 years of experience to become a main eventer.
That makes sense.
I'm a main eventer. But you know what I mean? I think it's Bret Hart. John gave me that quote. So.
I like that. Well, that kind of sounds like the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours
100%.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was never ever brought to my... It was never something I thought about because I'm just me and I just live my life. And as long as I know that I'm doing my job really great and I still have passion for my job every single day, I still love the arts and creating magic and creating moments for the fans and all these wonderful things and traveling and all the woes that come along with, the professional wrestling business.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. And everybody at the PC thought I was 28.
Then you're 28.
And I just
That's all
was
that
like,
matters.
there were some girls, I'm not going to call them out, but there were some girls that would come up to me all the time and talk to me about like a song that was playing. And like, remember like 5 years ago, like when in high school, this song was popular. And I was just like, yeah. Like it never came up. No one said anything. And then like, so when it was like all of a sudden, like, with the weird rumors that came out about what 2.0 was going to be and all this kind of stuff, all of a sudden my age was to the internet an issue. And I was like, you guys didn't even know how old I was.
Well, perception's reality, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't even really think about it. I live my life every day the same way I would if I was, 25, but just with more responsibilities.
I'm the same. And
like, what does that even mean?
Well, I think it's that the only reason I asked this is because when we were kids, I remember my parents being
our
this
age. Yeah.
I remember going to my dad's surprise 40th birthday party.
I remember going to my dad's 40th birthday too.
And there was a cake with a hill on it. And it was like, you're over the hill. And I'm like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to me that like, oh, that means I'm old. I'm like, you're not old.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, 8 at the time or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like now as I approach that, I'm like, there's nothing I can't do at 38 that I couldn't do at 28 or 18.
Yes. I actually I think that if I had gotten into wrestling like as a 20-year-old or something, like I don't think I was mentally prepared for that business. You know what I mean? I think that starting later, like I started when I was 26. So starting at 26 years old, I was just mentally more prepared, and this is a really hard business to be in, and
oh yeah,
I just know that I just don't think I would have been able to handle it at that age, and I feel like I am probably a better person, a better wrestler. I'm just more responsible with what I do and everything compared to having, say, I got signed when I was 20 years old. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think that there's anything negative with being my age. I feel like I said. Like I'm 25. I don't even know what 38 is supposed to look like. I certainly don't look like a lot of 38-year-olds.
Yeah,
neither do you. You're like look at a baby face over here.
You and John, like.
Well, John is Benjamin Button. Okay, he's aging backwards.
It's unbelievable. Jeez, what is he like? Is he a vampire?
I mean, maybe.
Are you?
I'm an X-Men. I always say I'm an X-Men. I'm an X-Men. It's just the way that it is. Yeah.
I just think that what's in front of you is way more exciting than what's behind you.
Absolutely. And I never want to forget or regret things that happened to me. And my road has been very hard, but also has had so many wonderful triumphs. So I'm just looking forward to what's next, where I want to go, what I want to do, doing more TV projects and getting back involved in TV and film and writing more movies with John and continuing to be creative with my clothing line and creating content and collaborating with all sorts of really cool individuals. I live in Los Angeles, California. It's a dream. And I'm just happy to be home in our house.
Yeah.
Feel like my feet are on the ground again. And I feel like, although me crying earlier is not a good sign of this, but I do feel like I'm mentally in a much better place.
You had to get it out. I got
it out for you guys. So.
And if you're a creative person, there's
Yeah.
no better place in the world to live than Los
here.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Whether that's in fashion or movies or music or whatever, the best of the best are here.
Absolutely. It's just magical. I don't know. I didn't grow up here. We're from Canada.
Yeah, we're from
Come on,
Canada.
we're
Look
just
at
two
us.
Canadians living in LA.
Yeah, it's great.
But as you're a kid, I just don't you remember being California, Los Angeles, that's where the magic is.
Every song is about California.
Yeah, California, no doubt about it.
Sure, California.
Yeah, the OC.
California.
I just wanted to go to school in the OC. Come on.
California love.
Yeah, exactly.
So many.
Exactly. So, I mean, living here has been probably, in the back of my mind since I was 5 years old, so I'm just happy to be here again, happy to move on from my experiences, learn from them, obviously, and just continue to try and, create my own path and write my own legacy and all that, leave my own legacy and all that jazz.
Yeah. If someone's watching this for the first time and seeing you and haven't seen one of your best matches, what match do they need to go look up right now?
I would recommend going to see me versus Ayako Hamada in Tijuana in the Tijuana street fight. I would look up any of my title defenses from Impact Wrestling. Some of them
all of them?
All of them. All of them.
You were the champion forever.
Forever. I mean, if you're bored, you got a lot of things to watch. I actually, I started rewatching some of my old stuff recently, and I was just like, look at her. She doesn't even know what's coming. No, but in all fairness, there's a lot of stuff I'm so proud of. Actually, just this past weekend, I was in Baltimore at a signing, and it was so cool to me how many people came up to me with lengthy stories about Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
and asking so many questions. And it's really cool to realize like that you leave these kind of like marks on people and positive experiences through a project like that.
We talked a lot about Lucha Underground in our last conversation, but it's the fact that they went out on top. Like Lucha Underground still had so much momentum, and it was a lot of stuff, I think, behind the scenes with the network that caused it to not continue.
Yeah, we didn't get that the last season. But I mean, think about everybody that was involved in that show and how all of us have taken that opportunity and flourished and hopefully made all the believers proud, you know? So yeah, it was definitely one of the most fun I've had doing something. And I mean, you know, it's also where I met John. So all magical things happen in the temple.
I end every conversation with the same question because I love gratitude.
Yeah.
I start and end every day saying out loud 3 things that I'm grateful for. So I end every interview the same way. What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for as we sit here right now?
My health, my family, and John.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like, you know,
Don't apologize
Kim Kardashian ugly crying for
That was not an ugly cry. Please.
Please don't make any gifts of me. Please don't come for me on Twitter. Please stop all that. It's just too much. It's too much.
Nothing but love.
Yeah, nothing but love. I've got nothing but love for everybody. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you, but you don't have to be, you know, negative Nancy POS. And treat everybody like you'd want to be treated. I think that's something that we learn in kindergarten. So
there you go, guys.
Words of advice from La Loca.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you coming here.